are in the world, happy day to you. Whatever time of day it is, wherever you are, love and light to you. For those of you who are new, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Sliding some incense. I'm left-handed, but for some reason, I only like putting out my incense on the right. Maybe that's that masculine energy, protector energy. I don't know. Burn a little Palo Santo. Got a new stick. All new everything. New month. Soon new year. It's holiday season, y'all, depending on where you are in the world. And a little cinnamon. That's the spice of life, baby. Yes, get that going. I love this song. It'll be listed in the description. All right, let's get started before I start partying for real. Be right back. And I'm back. Hey, y'all. I get so excited when I get to record. But before we get into all the excitement and all the stuff that is going on that's brand new with you and I, let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to come together once again to worship, to honor, and to thank you. Thank you for the many blessings. Thank you for the protection. Thank you for the discernment. Thank you for our ancestors, for them fighting in realms that we cannot see and cheering us along, all those that mean us well. Thank you for the archangels, for them accepting the assignment to be on assignment, to protect us, to bestow messages on your behalf, and for protecting us and all that angels do. We return any evil eye back to sender 10 times fold. Enjoy all of that. And the church say what? Amen. Hey, y'all. Okay. Before I get started, let me make sure I honor my ancestors because this is our key altar time. And sometimes I forget to do the very thing that we're here to do, which is to give honor and praise to all those in the spirit realm, especially the Most High, and all those that have come before us. Please accept my offering of tea. Thank you. On my altar, I don't know about you guys, I have a picture of an ancestor who I only knew for a brief amount of time. It's amazing how you can live and miss people. You know, you just miss somebody, or, you know, someone sticks around long enough for you to get to know them. And this one particular ancestor, she passed quite young as far as I'm concerned. She was 49. I'm now 43, and she passed when I was, let's see, about 17 years ago. So we had a small amount of time to get to know each other. You know, I was a child and a teenager, and then, you know, a young adult when she passed on. I just found out that I was pregnant with my youngest son, and she was very happy for me. And I was grateful that she was happy for me because, you know, I was a new mom, and my oldest wasn't quite, he wasn't even 1 year old yet when I found out that I was pregnant with my youngest. And I was in my senior year of college, and it's just a whole lot going on at that time. And her support of just being excited for a new baby helped a lot. So I think some people we could miss, you know, maybe we don't necessarily appreciate them as much as other people that come before us. But nonetheless, it's all about the lessons that we're all meant to teach each other. With that being said, let's move right along. So we're going to get right into our Blessed Seven. I took a little time to rest and to celebrate my oldest turning 18 and really just absorbing all of that and we had just wrapped up Halloween, and now we're getting ready to go into more holidays and more reasons to celebrate. I just think it's all an excuse to eat well. I'm gonna just put it out there. And I always brace myself at this time of the year, like, you know what? As long as I keep working, as long as moving and working out and being mindful, the body knows what to do. So drop some emojis in the comments and let me know where you are in your part of the world watching this and what's going on with you. I absolutely love it when you all interact with me. It gives me the encouragement to keep going. So this is the part that we call the Blessed Seven, excuse me. I was watching somebody, one of my favorite content creators, and he said that he has allergies, but nothing was happening prior to him recording. Like everything was perfectly fine. Nose was fine. As soon as he hit record, nose got to dripping, throat had to be cleared. I can absolutely relate. I'm not sure what it is. Is somebody come up against your chakras? Is somebody trying to put you, mute your message? Who knows? Is there some type of spiritual significance? But it's an interesting phenomenon nonetheless. How are you all? It feels like it's been forever, and it hasn't. I don't record as much as I have in the past recently, but that doesn't mean I won't pick up again. I think I'm learning how to transition and to honor my intuitive moves when I feel called to do things, and just honoring that, sometimes there's a message and sometimes there isn't. So here I am. And if you are watching, again, welcome and thank you. But this is by no coincidence, love. This message is for you. And we start out with my very favorite card of all, my favorite Bible scripture of all. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to do a backflip. I don't care if I'm 79, I'm going to learn how to do a backflip, okay? Your Father already knows your needs, Luke 12:30. That's my daddy knows card. Let God's promises shine on your problems. Corey Timbone. Oh my God, I have a story for you guys. So I am a jack of all trades. I have a nice large bag of skills. I have a certain set of skills, right? No, but I do have a lot of different hats that I wear professionally. Everything from a travel agent to a nurse, to a motivational speaker, to life coaching, to personal training. There's, so many different things that I do. With that being said, I also participate in research opportunities. And my realm is in medicine. And when you get the call, you got to answer. And I was actually sitting in a business meeting with someone about another set of opportunities being presented before me in collaborative projects to entertain. And I got a phone call, and I was so engrossed in what we were talking about that I saw the phone ring and I didn't answer. And I'd actually taken my screener off of my phone. If you have an iPhone, with the most recent updates, they allow you to screen your calls that aren't, numbers that aren't saved in your phone, and they can introduce themselves or they can hang up so that you're not being blindsided by a call that you may not necessarily want to answer. And so I had taken that off because was awaiting another call that may not have gone very well with the screener. Point is that I looked over at my phone and I saw the inscription of the voicemail and realized that it was a last minute opportunity for a project that was going to pay a substantial amount of money for a very, very short amount of time, and just wanted me to they wanted me to be a part of this at the last minute because they had a cancellation. And initially I was like, oh, because I had seen the phone ring and I didn't answer because I had totally forgotten this number didn't look very familiar to me, and it said potential spam, and I just kind of, brushed it off. And by the time I went to go call back, I didn't, I wasn't able to fulfill that last minute need. Someone else had taken that spot, and it stung. But I will say that I've gotten to a point in my life where I recognize that what's meant for you, you won't have to chase it. It will come to you. And for whatever reason, that I know and trust that that unfolded the way it was meant to. Everything that happens in your life is just a domino effect that will beget your ultimate greatest outcomes for whatever you're dealing with or asking for or experiencing. And it hurt to know the dollar amount and the circumstances, but I've also realized that everything is always working out for the greatest of good. And so perhaps the person that just texted me that he got $2 today. Okay, cool. What was I saying? However something unfolds, be okay with it, roll with it, because there's a lesson to be learned. And 9 times out of 10, something is being either prevented or aligned, right? So there's a story that I love to tell my boys, when they find themselves in situations where they may feel uh, a certain type of way on a specific scenario, or whatever. So let's say somebody is running behind. I'll never forget, I was trying my best to get to a hair appointment when I was still getting my hair braided. And I had been going to this girl for at least a decade at this point. So this was very recent, actually. Probably one of the last times I got my hair braided. And every direction that I went in, for whatever reason, there was a train, there was construction, there was some type of blockage. And I actually left out quite early, because she's not that close to me, but enough where I felt compelled to just, leave out early and take my time. Ended up being ridiculously late. I have never been this late for anything in my life, ever. I think the most I've ever been late is at best an hour. And even then, that was like, what in the world? So this is probably the second time in my life I've ever been late, and the longest time it took for me to get somewhere. Everywhere I turned, there was a train, there was construction, another train, traffic, it was absolutely absurd. And I was only like, literally, I would say 20 to 15 minutes away, 15, 20 minutes away from her. And it ended up being like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And I was just like, what? And it reminds me of a story, like I say, that I remind my children of a man who was trying to catch a flight, and he was extremely late. He tried everything he could to get to that flight and missed it. Ended up missing a flight. I can only imagine the hell it is to miss a flight. I've never missed a flight, thank God. If you have, I'm sure it is extremely stressful. I can only imagine, depending especially on how you view it, right? If we succumb to the frustration of something, it's only going to make it worse. If you stay optimistic in real time, which is easier said than done, I understand. But if you take on a more, this is probably divinely meant to go this way, it oftentimes is and does go a lot better. And so he missed his flight, only to find out later that the flight had gone down and everyone aboard died. So I often look at situations like that, like, either something was prevented or some type of divine alignment for something that I asked for, maybe coming to fruition now, or maybe even a couple of years from now, required this domino effect that I didn't realize was a part of the bigger plan. All right. Our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. 2 Corinthians 4:17. Every tomorrow has two handles. We can take hold of it with the handle of anxiety or the handle of faith. Harry Ward Beecher. I also implore you to try to do a exercise with yourself. Of course, once we get further in the cards, there'll be different suggested exercises that you can do, especially when it comes to breathing and analyzing. But I give you the challenge to not gossip, not complain, not side remark or side eye anything or anyone. Do your absolute best to speak positively about any and every circumstance that you choose to speak upon, or not at all. Oftentimes I'll have conversations with people and I'll listen to them, and their undertoning is that of complaining or massaging their egos. What does that mean? Where you're constantly putting yourself above whoever you're talking about that isn't present to defend themselves or to say anything at all, and kind of jab them without them even being there. And believe it or not, that says a lot more about you than them. You know, it kind of puts me in a position where I go, okay, interesting. And I wonder oftentimes, is it because they feel so inadequate that they feel the need to now boost their own egos in front of someone who doesn't know the other party to help them feel better? I don't know. And these are from, I've had conversations with people who are quite, admirable. So they must feel intimidated on some level. But I implore you to try to, even in circumstances that are like, what? I had a couple of someone's actually recently kind of go quiet for a project that I need done that I really would love to do myself. Okay. I'm a Taurus and we're independent at heart, but I had a couple of different people actually not come through to assist me with something very simple. And instead of me going, oh, well, what's wrong with that person? I just thought, well, it's a blessing because for whatever reason, perhaps they didn't feel confident in being able to actually fulfill the thing that I needed and didn't want to say it, or, they're just not the energy that's meant to be in my stratosphere to assist me, whatever this is. And I'm just that much closer to whomever will be able to help me with this. That is much more aligned with me and my need. You see, instead of complaining or ridiculing or being negative in any type of way, try that. I don't think people realize how when you judge others and what it does energetically, judging others is such a, oh my God, like, even with me saying that, I'm not judging those who do. I guess I'm just more so pointing out the fact that it can be very damaging to you energetically and for the world. If we're all sitting back judging each other, what kind of world is that? My God. Quite miserable, I would think. And just like anything else, you have to practice. And so if you've come to a place in your life where maybe you have been a little cynical or pessimistic or whatever, that you feel you could have room to adjust within yourself, because only you can come up with that, it's okay. It'll take a little time, but you didn't get to where you are overnight, and Rome wasn't built in a day. It just takes a little conscious effort and practice and awareness on your end. I had to go through an overhaul several times in my life where I realized that my line of thinking or moving wasn't genuine into who I really am at the end of the day, which is love and light, honestly. I mean, I'm nothing to be trifled with, for certain. But at the end of the day, the baby girl that's in me is still very much bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Looking at myself now with my hair this way reminds me of a baby picture. Maybe I'll include it in this video. I don't know. But that's exactly who I am. It's a picture of me laying on the bed with a bottle knocked off to the side with milk drooling down the side of my mouth. And I'm just sitting there just happy. Just as happy. Cute little baby. Uh-oh. And clueless. Happy and clueless. And not to say that I'm clueless, but more like oblivious to the ways of the world that can make people miserable. And all I saw was just whoever it was that was taking a picture of me, I was just happy to see them. And you can just see the joy in my face, you know. I wish that for everyone. Am I 100% joyous all the time? Who is? No. But I am saying that it is a conscious decision to be in that energy. Just like any other energy, it has to be fed. If you're going to be, not you, because that wouldn't be you, whoever, if someone finds themselves in a not so pleasant mood, you have to feed that energy. You don't just stay angry by default. Something is feeding that, you know, even on a subconscious level, the thoughts that you're having, you know, it becomes this loop of energy that has to continue on and be fed, or else it dissipates. So one negative thought begets another negative thought. And that's why, if you're very conscious of the words that you're using, they want to elicit those subconscious energies that's feeding that underlying place of negative, pessimistic judgment, whatever. I'm always looking for something to anchor me in joy. Okay. 3 fell out, so we're going to take them. Play. Maybe we need to play more. May the Lord direct your hearts into God's love and Christ's perseverance. 2 Thessalonians 3:5. Jesus said, I am with you always to the very end of age. Matthew 28:20. Excuse me. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus. Philippines 4:17. I'm saying that completely wrong. I don't know why all of a sudden I don't know my books. I said Philippines. Oh my goodness. Philippians. Okay. 4:19. All right. The Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen and protect you. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. Just had 2 Thessalonians 3:5. Okay. Thessalonians it is. Faith makes all things possible. Dwight L. Moody. And that gives us 5. 2 to go. All right. Okay. So I tell myself. Okay, I'm going to tell myself. Because I'm such a movie buff. I hate the fact that I did this. But I'm going to redeem myself, okay? And I blame this country. All right, what am I talking about? So, there is a movie that premiered by a particular director who is, I feel, one of the most underrated directors out there, you know, because all his material that I've seen so far has been chef's kiss. I mean, seriously, like, why isn't this man more recognized? He's a French director by Luc Besson, and he just did an adaptation of Dracula, A Love Tale. Well, there are people who have posted snippets of this movie because it premiered in France. I want to say, did it premiere this year? Yeah. And the US has just, I mean, to the point where I thought I was just watching, like, you know, a little something about the movie, and it ended up being the entire synopsis of the movie with scenes within 15 minutes. And I was heartbroken because, one, the film is absolutely fantastic. And it doesn't actually premiere here in the States until February 6th of 26, which is, I regret knowing anything about this movie, and I really hate the fact that my algorithm picked it up. And I know it's because there are certain genres of film that I enjoy, and vampires and werewolves and things of that nature happen to be one of them. And so for whatever reason, my algorithm picked up on this movie, and now I've pretty much seen it, and I hate that because I'm big on giving credit where credit is due, and you know, playing my part financially whenever I can. You know, it definitely needs to be supported. It definitely should make the money for the vision and the, you know, time and effort that these people have put into this film, especially Luke. He's done several movies that I've come to find out about after the fact that I felt like were really unfair for him not to get as much um, fanfare here in the States. Like there's movies that I'm finding out now about that just didn't do well here for whatever reason. And it's so unfortunate because it's basically like you can have the greatest movie ever, but for whatever reason, people aren't ready. I don't know. And then like a decade later, it goes, it hits the monumental success that it should have had when it first premiered. And it's just like, why? You know, and I understand timing, I understand divine timing, but I have to wonder, what does that do for them financially, you know, recouping that money? Because obviously every film has a budget, doesn't matter what it is, even if it's low budget, right? But the actors who were involved, like I think another movie that's been slept on is there's another movie by him with Claire Da Vinci, and I can't remember his name, and Rihanna was in it, something of a thousand planets, something like that. I think people slept on that. And there's another movie that doesn't have anything to do with him that I don't think has anything to do with him. It's called Death of a Unicorn. Instant cult classic. As far as I'm concerned, it was brilliantly made. I love the timing of it, the absurdity of it. You know, there's a lot of movies out here that I just think people, for whatever reason, don't tap into until well after it's released, and it's completely unfortunate. You know, books is one thing, you know, and hopefully that the author is still alive, although that has happened quite a bit where people have written books and passed on and their books become, you know, infamous. But movies, I just feel like they can make or break your career for sure as a director if they don't do well right away, or if the right people don't see it. It's just, I don't know. I guess it's even like content creation. You can be an awesome content creator, but for whatever reason, if the algorithm doesn't pick you up, you may go, your channel may go quiet for years before someone finally stumbles across you, and then it's like overnight. How bizarre. Point that I'm making. Please go see Dracula, A Love Tale. Not on your tablet, not on some streaming. Don't click on anything on YouTube like I did, because this person didn't even say this is a spoiler alert. You know, don't watch this if you don't want to know. None of that. I seriously contemplated reporting this person, but I'm not a hater. It is what it is. I shouldn't have watched it. I take accountability, but it really deserves to be on a big screen and enjoyed properly and patronized properly. It's good, y'all. It's good. Oh my god, I've watched it twice. Okay. So 6. Do not be anxious about anything. The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:6-7. Wait, is this the same card I had in my hand the whole time? Child. No. Be assured, if you walk with him and look to him and expect help from him, he will never fail you. George Muller. I went off into a tangent and like completely forgot where I was. Is this the same card? Okay, I'll know when I go back and look at the look at the recording. Like, girl, you read that card twice. Oh well. That's the beauty of when I record, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have anything nothing. This is raw, and it is the only thing that obviously was greatly edited is the intro. You know, when I go back and I make my music, you know, I integrate the music of well-respected artists with my own theatrics, and you know, include that at the beginning. But outside of that, all of this is on the fly, honey. So I don't know what's gonna happen. And I'm not the type to go back and try to edit stuff out, unless it's like, you know, something terrible. Like I remember once I did have to do that. But that is a very rare thing. May you be strengthened with all power according to his righteous might. Galatians 1 11. Galatians 1:11. The stars may fail, the stars may fall, but God's promises will stand and be fulfilled. J.I. Packer. Okay, we got through it, y'all. Yay! All right, so the blessed 7 will be listed in the description box below with an additional message from me. All right. Actually, now that I think about it, I hope I went back and did my last video, because I remember I kept saying I gotta go back and put my messages in. I gotta go back and look and see. All right, so now we're moving on to our affirmations, because we only write checks that I ask in cash. Okay, and so we're very careful with the words that we use. Right, yes. That's a part of accountability too, being in control of one's mouth and the things that come out of it. One, you got to be able to handle whatever you're talking about, even if it's just joking. People are like, oh, I'm just joking. Yeah, that stuff still counts. It still counts. Energetically, vibrationally, and especially depending on the energy that's behind it, child. I don't care what it is. It still counts. So be mindful. And with that, let's give some affirmations to myself and my amazing collective. Let's see what we got. We're going to do 7 affirmations, just like we did 7 scriptures. First one out. I choose peace. Yes, I choose peace. Oh, another good movie that's coming out soon. 2 movies, actually. There's sequels. Sisu. Sisu. Oh my God, please. I love it. Love it. Yes, they're violent, but it's more like, I like movies where it's like, nah, you're not gonna just do me any kind of way. Okay, you're just not gonna do me any type of way. And I mean, even with John Wick, I think that was the allure for me for that. Was like, first of all, you killed this man puppy. Who kills a puppy? You need to be dealt with just off of that, for real. I'm sure all animal sensitives out there were like, exactly, but I'm that type of person. I love movies that it's just like, yeah, you're not gonna just do me. I'm literally living my life. I think the genre of movie that someone enjoys is everything about them. That's why I'm very leery of people who like demonic, scary movies. And yes, I know I like vampire and werewolf movies, but I only like specific types. And I'm definitely not a Twilight. I don't know. Twilight was cool, but Anne Rice, I think the reason why her book, and subsequent movie and TV shows has been so welcomed is because it was relatable. It was about her, her 5-year-old daughter. Well, initially it started off with the 2 main characters, and then tragedy hit. She let the beginning of the story kind of sit for some time, and then her daughter unfortunately passed away at the age of 5, and so then this entire obsession began, and Gothic history was made. But it was relatable, is the point. I like movies that are relatable, and I like movies that provoke emotion in connection. And yeah, if that were me, I would probably be the same way. That type of deal, not just mindless satanic killing, that gratuitous killing. Just again, what you enjoy says it all. I do not need someone else to feel happiness. No, I don't. I do not need someone else to feel happiness. And I'm so grateful for that, because I think I've lived a life where I haven't really had to pay much attention to other people and how they live their lives. I've never really cared. And I can only say it's because I'm an only child and presumably the black sheep on both sides of my family, which I didn't even realize and completely fine with. I never felt connected, But when I have conversations with people, because I do welcome, talking to people, I realize that, People don't operate quite like I do, and vice versa. And yeah, I've never had my joy be contingent upon another. I'm sure that has to be absolutely insufferable to have to do so. But I just couldn't imagine life coming from that perspective. And I'm not knocking anyone who's in that position. What I am saying is that if you identify with that, I can only imagine. And there's so much more to you than I think you've given yourself the opportunity to tap into. Because I tell my children, the movie I Am Legend, where he was by himself, all that time and having to negate through life, it was tough on him, but he found a way to still kind of move around. And I can't say that he was necessarily happy, but he was able to still survive. He did have to have some type of, sounding board, with the mannequins and stuff like that, because we're social creatures. And if we don't have that, we literally go insane. But your happiness does not have to be contingent upon anyone else. That is a choice. Everything works out for my highest good. Amen. And thank God it does. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about missing that call. And I can't even call it a missed call. It was a decision not to answer. And I have to own that decision. But I also have to realize that everything happens as it's supposed to. For whatever reason, I wasn't meant to answer that call. If I had genuinely been selected for that study or meant to be a part of that study, it would have went completely differently. If anything, now I know, like, okay, well, treat your phone calls a little bit better. But everything that's meant for you, you do not have to force or struggle anything that's meant for you. Relationships, opportunities, jobs, society will have you believing that you have to go out here and break your butt for something to come to you. And that's not the way it works. There are lessons to be learned in that, but ultimately, anything that ever came my way came easily and effortlessly. And I'm not saying that braggadociously. I'm saying that it's the path of least resistance. When you surrender to your desire and allow the universe to conspire and do what it does, I'm not going to go up watching a wonderful orchestrated masterpiece. I'm not going to go up into the orchestra, excuse me, and start, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. No, I'm going to sit in the audience and I'm going to enjoy what I'm experiencing and allowing it to unfold. And that's really the part that you're supposed to play, is allowing these things to unfold, to teach you and guide you and bring forth the greatest version of you if you allow it. Just allow it. I'm allowed to take time to heal. Yes, there is a card. Hold on, y'all. Let me find it. Okay. It was under my foot the whole dang on time. I'm like, where is this card at? Okay. Anywho, I love myself fully. I love myself fully. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. I promise I wouldn't. I see people and I admire them. I think they're fantastic. And I think to be them is probably phenomenal. But I also absolutely would never trade places with anybody else, because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors with anybody. And everything that glitters isn't always gold. And if my life had to go the way that it has, I'm glad that I am who I am. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. It's not a mistake. You are who you are. Know that. How many we got out here before I get to pulling incessantly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got one more after this one to go. I am doing work that I enjoy and find fulfilling. I don't like that word, but I'm a little slack because I didn't write that card. Make my own deck. Okay. Work is a 4-letter word. It just makes me cringe. It's like, All right. All right, you're 39 minutes in. It's gonna be a journey today, huh? Okay, one more card. If you are in the US, you know that Thanksgiving is coming up soon, and I realize that not everyone celebrates Thanksgiving, but I do hope that the spirit of giving and gratitude is alive in each and every one of us nonetheless. And I am sending that out to you. I'm grateful for you, that you are in the greatest place that you could possibly be at this exact moment. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I send nothing but love and light to you. All right, last card. My potential to succeed is limitless. And with that, again, they will be listed in the description box below. So if I talk too fast, you didn't catch that, it'll be there. All right, moving right along to our spirit messages. Okay, jokey. I've got to be more mindful with my cards after I get done recording because I am finding cards that were not in the deck from before. But I knew that. Okay, so this time I have all. Yes, okay. All right. What are our spirit messages from my amazing collective and myself? I don't know how many times I pull cards and I'm like, oh, that's for me. Too. For both of us. I got my tea sitting here looking at me like, you gonna drink me anytime soon? Yes, I am. Because right after this, I have a whole workout to do. So I'm best to get to sipping. Today is an unusually nice day outside too, so I definitely want to get out and get some fresh air, stretch my legs, ground, take in some beautiful weather. And I hope that you get to do so too. I recently discovered that I am surrounded by a lot of places I had no idea existed. I feel like I've been asleep on my own. Neighboring nuggets of joy. That's the thing about perspective. Depending on what you're focused on, you may miss out some stuff. So reevaluate. All right. Upside down. Sometimes walking away is the only option, not because you want to make someone miss you or realize they took you for granted, but because you finally respect yourself enough to know you deserve better. Amen. You ain't got to tell nobody nothing. Once you finally come to the conclusion that something ain't for you, baby, by all means, I tell my boys the same thing. I don't care if it's me. If you wake up one day and realize my mama was toxic, which I hope like hell that ain't the case, because I have seriously made conscious efforts to be far better than any example I was ever given as a child from any adult. But I cannot be biased. I can't say, stand up for yourself and be this amazing human being that doesn't take crap from anybody except for me. No. Know your value, know your worth, and if it don't align with you, child, it's okay. It's okay. It don't matter who it is. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy, your sister, your cousin, that boss you can't stand. I don't care who it is or what the circumstance is. The universe will always make a way. Once you make a declaration to ride out with yourself, you love you, you gonna show up for you. Okay? The universe will make a way. And you don't have to explain yourself to nobody. If your standards can change in a second. You know what? 5 minutes ago, I would have put up with that. The new me ain't gonna be able to do it. Deuces. And a lot of times, moving in silence is the best flex. What am I gonna announce something for? I didn't realize for the longest you've been playing in my face. I wish I would. If your mindset is fixed, try to free yourself from that. Rise above. Don't place limitations on what you think you can achieve. Don't stand in your own way. Allow yourself to flourish and always welcome abundance in all forms into your life. Yes, be open and ready. And what does that look like? For instance, I wanted to give gratitude to someone who had looked out for me for something. I didn't ask them to. They just, genuinely wanted to help, which is a beautiful thing when you come across like souls, when you are a giver and a helper, and you meet another giver and a helper. It's almost like a competition. Okay, well, I'm gonna make sure I, show my gratitude, And when I finally was able to give someone a gift to say thank you for something that they didn't have to do for me, it was like, you didn't have to do that for me. I just enjoy, being able to give, but in giving, you have to be comfortable with receiving. Have you ever gotten a compliment and cringed, and somehow put yourself down, or, didn't even allow the compliment to land? You know, that says a lot. One, about how you see yourself, and two, maybe you're not as open to receiving as you think. Somebody tries to do something nice for you, like, nah, I got it. Energetically, that adds up. It's like compound interest. Whatever you're operating in is going to add up over time. Those small things that you deny yourself, you don't win any medals for that. You end up actually creating a struggle where you're not open to receive the very blessings that the universe is sending your way to show you who you've been. Why would you deny yourself that? It is time to stop letting worry rule you. Instead, get excited about your future and all it will bring. What energy and emotion you put out comes back to you with a little conscious effort on your part. That happy ending can and will be yours. Believe it. All right. That's our spirit messages. We're moving right on to rethink. Namaste. Bye, Roulette. We're going to burn some bay leaves and send you back on your way, baby. Okay. Because I realized we're 46 minutes in. And I know that means I'm going to be sitting here waiting and staring at this video to upload. Man, that's the only thing. I need YouTube to come up with a better way. Because I've literally fallen asleep waiting for stuff to upload. All right, so first card out here, we're only doing 2. Patience, yes. With unwavering patience, I negate the path toward my goals, understanding that genuine success requires time and dedicated effort. I wholeheartedly trust in the transformative power of the journey, allowing it to unfold on its own pace. At its own pace, yes. Patience. I'm quite patient, and so I'm not. There's like a limit, I got a big old jar of patience, and then as soon as it hit that brim, the decision is made. But I think children are the ones that genuinely deserve our patience the most. Yeah. And ourselves. Be patient with yourself. As cliche as it sounds, you're not gonna get any better than what you think of yourself or treat yourself. You're not gonna get any better than that, because if you feel as though you don't deserve to be forgiven or treated right, how is anybody going to meet that standard? Or how are you going to even implement that standard if you don't even believe you deserve it or even give it to yourself? It's impossible. Oop, how many? No, too many. Okay. It's too many. If I put too many words in my description, I'm going to be having to go back and get real creative. I don't want anyone to miss any information. So, one more card. I still gotta do namaste, and those cards can get long too. Still ain't had no tea. What's wrong with me? Coming out. Just one more card, Lord. Asking you shall receive. Let's put this one away. Graciousness. Okay. Graciousness. I gracefully exemplify compassion towards myself and those around me, even amidst challenging circumstances. I embody kindness and empathy. I consciously opt for love and positivity, infusing every interaction with warmth, understanding, and uplifting energy. I love that, because that's exactly how I feel right now. Like, seriously. I feel so giddy, guys. Like a little girl. But again, I am eternally a little girl. I don't care. I could be 103. I'm going to still feel like a little girl. A wise little girl. Very much like Claudia, huh? Claudia was so tragic. And I'm talking about Claudia from Interview with the Vampire. She was stuck in a little girl's body. Oh, baby. But anyway. We are finally on to Namahu. Namaste. Come again. All right. I'm going to absolutely end up in India. I already know. I'm going to end up in India or somewhere in Asia. I can feel it. I can feel it in my soul. I think I posted that like God knows how long ago, where you'll look up and find me in another country with a different name. And a whole new identity, and I won't even remember who you're talking about. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a long one. Okay. What if you could fly? Put your seatbelts on, children. We're going for a ride. What if you had the ability to fly? Let the wind take you high and the sun shine on your face. Above the world, look down at where you once were. Begin to understand where you were from a different perspective. You feel free of it all, gliding high in the sky for 8 minutes. Stress can make you feel stuck in any situation. Feeling stuck can block other perspectives. Don't allow yourself to feel caged in a small box. By letting your mind float away, you can give yourself the freedom to rest and receive new ideas about your situation. Once the mind is calm, the answers become clear. Yeah. So now I'm gonna finally drink some tea. I literally got this big old cup sitting here. This is like not even thought about. $50, 51:51 when I look up at the clock. Okay. Another namaste. Oh my God. So I don't know what my youngest son has been doing to my tea. But we put, like, I drink black tea and I put like turmeric, or have them put turmeric and cinnamon and ginger and all this stuff in it. The last 2 times he's made this tea, I almost feel like he put steak seasoning in it or something, because it was like instant. Like hot dog water or something. My God. So I'm assuming my oldest made my tea today. It tastes way better, although I'm going to find out so I can make sure I give the correct credit, because I don't want to, make assumptions. Okay. One thing at a time. The world is now a multitasker's dream or nightmare. Today, everyone has to manage scattered thoughts, ideas, and movements. Most are not multitaskers, though. Even a renowned multitasker will have difficulty grounding themselves in the moment. Next time you tackle your never-ending to-do list, focus on one thing. Do one task at a time and see how this allows you to be immersed in the task and the moment. When you can rid yourself of all the other obligations while focusing on what you are doing, the task at hand will allow you to recover and rest. And those are your namastes. Where will you find them? The description box below. All right, y'all. It is time for the busted Bible. Oh God. How busted? Busted, baby. Like an old beat up tire. Busted. All right, Lord. What is the message that you would have myself and my amazing collective that were kind enough to tune in and share this time with me as we come to an end? After this, we'll burn some bay leaves, and then I'll see you next time. Won't you be my neighbor? Let's see. I went down my video list the other day and it said Ruth again. Oh my God. We ain't seen Ruth in a minute. Okay. 2 Samuel. I thought it was going to be Deuteronomy for a second there. Although, can I see? All right. So this is the New Living Translation Bible, by the way. This is so hilarious because it got burned on screen one day. I can't tell you what video it is anymore, but I was literally sitting here reading the Bible and I look down and go, oh, my Bible's on fire. Didn't even flinch. That's the nurse in me. Okay, so we're going to do 2 Samuel's 2 and 3. And can I see? The answer is, we're going to turn the lamp on. So brace yourselves. Be right back. Yeah, okay. So I try to sit in a way where my head blocks the glare of the lamp because even for me, I'm like, Jesus Lord. And I've tried to play with that lamp. It's just, yeah. Anyway, back to what we're doing. So, um, I'm going to read what I have highlighted and thought was most important over the years, and or underlined, and pray that you go back and devour the rest. Okay. So, 2 Samuel 2, New Living Translation. David anointed, excuse me. Okay. David anointed king of Judah. So we're going to skip down to 4. Then the men of Judah came to David and crowned him king over the people of Judah. When David heard that the men of Jabesh Gilead had buried Saul, he sent them this message: May the Lord bless you for being so loyal to your master Saul and giving him a decent burial. 6. May the Lord be loyal to you in return and reward you with his unfailing love. And I, too, will reward you for what you have done. Now that Saul is dead, I ask you to be my strong and loyal subjects, like the people of Judah, who have anointed me as their new king. We're going to go over to, see, sometimes I can't tell if it's bled through. No, okay. So, why does that look like that? 16. Each one grabbed his opponent by their hair and thrust his sword into their side so that all of them died. So this place in Gilead, Gibeon, has been known ever since as a field of swords. Okay. The death of Asahel, 18. So we're at 2:18. Joab, Abishai, and Asahel, the 3 sons of Zeruiah, were among David's forces that day. Asahel could run like a gazelle. 19. And he began chasing Abner. He pursued him relentlessly, not stopping for anything. When Abner looked back and saw him coming, he called out, "Is that you, Asahel? 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 Asahel?" Listen, we already know. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, he replied. 21. Go fight someone else, Abner warned. Take on one of the younger men and strip him of his weapons. But Asahel kept right on chasing Abner. 22. Again, Abner shouted to him, "Get away from here. I don't want to kill you. How could I ever face your brother Joab again?" 23. But Asahel refused to turn back. So Abner thrust the butt end of his spear through Asahel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. He stumbled onto the ground and died there. And everyone who came by that spot stopped and stood still when they saw Asahel laying there. 24. When Joab and Abishai found out what had happened, they set out after Abner. The sun was just going down as they arrived at the hill of Amha, near Gia, along the road of the wilderness of Gibeon. Abner's troops from the tribe of Benjamin regrouped there at the top of the hill and to take stand. So now we'll go over to 3. So this is 2 Samuel 3. That was the beginning of the long war between those who were loyal to Saul and those who were loyal to David. As time passed, David became stronger and stronger, while Saul's dynasty became weaker and weaker. David's sons born in Hebron. These are the sons who were born to David in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon. whose mother was Ahanoma from Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. The third was Abisal, whose mother was Micaiah, the daughter of Tamla, Talmiah, king of Geshur. The fourth was Andaniah, whose mother was Haggith. The fifth was Shephethah, Lord, whose mother was Abital. The sixth was Ithrim, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. The sons were all born to David in Hebron. Abner joins forces with David. 6. As the war between the house of Saul and the house of David went on, Abner became a powerful leader among those loyal to Saul. One day, Ishbosheth, well, my goodness, Saul's son accused Abner of sleeping with one of his father's concubines, a woman named Rizpah, daughter of Aiah. Abner was furious. Am I some Judean dog to be kicked around like this? He shouted. After all I have done for your father, Saul, and his family and friends by not handing you over to David, and this is my reward. This is what that you find fault with me about this woman. May God strike me and even kill me if I don't do anything I can help David get what the Lord has promised him. 10. I'm going to take Saul's kingdom and give it to David. I will establish the throne of David over Israel as well as Judah, all the way from Dan in the north of Beersheba in the south. Ishbosheth didn't dare say another word because he was afraid of what Abner might do. Then Abner sent messengers to David saying, doesn't the entire land belong to you? Make a solemn pact with me, and I will help turn over all of Israel to you. All right, David replied, but I will not negotiate with you unless you bring back my wife, Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come. David then sent a message to Ishbosheth, I cannot say that name, Saul's son, give me back my wife, Michaela? Is it Michaela? For I bought her with the lives of 1,000 Philistines. So Ishbosheth took Michaela, I'm going to say Michaela because I'm thinking that's what that says, away from her husband Palti, son of Lisha. Palti followed along behind her as far as Bethlehem, weeping as he went. Then Abner told him, go back home. So Palti returned. 17. Meanwhile, Abner had consulted with the elders of Israel. For some time now, he told them, you have wanted to make David your king. 18. Now is the time. For the Lord has said, I have chosen David to save my people Israel from the hands of the Philistines and from all their other enemies. 19. Abner also spoke with the men of Benjamin. Then he went to Hebron to tell David that all the people of Israel and Benjamin had agreed to support him. We're going to jump down to 26. Joab had left David and sent messengers to catch up with Abner, asking him to return. They found him at a well in Sariah and brought him back, though David knew nothing about it. When Abner arrived back in Hebron, Joab took him aside at the gateway as if to speak with him privately. But then he stabbed Abner in the stomach and killed him in revenge of killing his brother Asahel. 28. When David heard about it, he declared, I vow by the Lord that I and my kingdom are forever innocent of this crime against Abner's son of Ner. Joab, his family, and his family are the guilty ones. May the family of Joab be cursed in every generation with a man who has open sores or leprosy, or who walks on crutches, or dies by the sword, or begs for food. 30. So Joab and his brother Abishai, Abishai, killed Abner because Abner had killed their brother Asahel at the battle of Gibeon. Now we're at 334, the latter half. No, 35. David had refused to eat anything on the day of the funeral, and now everyone begged him to eat. But David had made a vow, saying, God strike me and even kill me if I eat anything before sundown. 36. This pleased the people very much. In fact, everything the king did pleased them. So everyone in Judah and all Israel understood that David was not responsible for Abner's murder. Then King David said to his officials, don't you realize that a great commander has fallen today in Israel? And even though I am the anointed king, these two sons of Zeruiah, Joab and Asahel, are too strong for me to control. So may the Lord repay these evil men for their evil deeds. I guess I didn't help very much with the lamp, huh? Sorry, y'all. Okay, so that and all my tongue-tiedness will be in the description box below with a little message from me. Be right back, y'all. I tried. Time to burn some bay leaves, y'all. Okay, look. Positive vibes only. If you don't have any bay leaves, don't worry, I got you. If you do, make sure you burn them in a safe dish. So let's go ahead and burn these bay leaves. Nothing against anyone's will. Positive vibes only. Hold on one second. Okay. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I believe with you as you believe with me that what we have written on our bay leaves is done. So it is, so it will be. Okay. Wherever you are in the world, whether you're getting ready to go to bed, start your day, you're in the middle of your day, I appreciate you either way. So stay amazing, stay safe, stay warm or cool wherever you are. Stay hydrated, stay tuned, and most of all, beloved, stay loved. Thank you again. Until next time. Ciao.